All right, Patrick Hahn.
Ted Broccoli.
Mabry Keel. So this is my persuasive speech. I'm just going to be talking about the Royals, Kansas City Royals. So my thesis is that the Royals postseason last year changed Kansas City's care for baseball and changed the city overall. It's had a big impact. So I'm just going to start by telling the experience that I had of the Royals' entry to the postseason with the wild card game. If either of you watched that, it was pretty dramatic. So the Royals were playing the Athletics in a one-game playoff, so it had to be everything that you had to make it into the playoffs. The Royals hadn't made the playoffs since 1985, so quite a drought. So everybody's really excited. I remember I was in Manhattan watching it with my friends, and it started off all right. I think it was like 3-2, and then in the sixth inning, the A's scored 4 runs and went up like 7-3 or something like that. And we watched a couple more innings, and then I left because I was like, all right, it's over. My friend really wanted to get some food, and I hadn't seen him in a long time, so I left for Buffalo Wild Wings. But in the ninth inning, the Royals scored 4 or something like that to tie the game. And I was just shocked watching it at the Buffalo. Luckily, there was TV at Buffalo Wild Wings, like the 100 TVs. But we started watching it there, and I couldn't believe my eyes. And then, let's see, in the 12th, it had gone into extra innings. The A's scored 1 and went up on the Royals. So the Royals had to score in the 12th, the bottom of the 12th, to catch up. And they did. And they scored 2, and they went to the playoffs for the first time in 29 years it had been at that point. So that kind of started what I'm going to talk about with this crazy excitement of the Royals in Kansas City and what it's done to the city. So my first reason that this has had a big impact is because of the team. The team is pretty exciting to watch. You have a bunch of homegrown players and then some trades that we've had that bring some big names. So the first 2 are Mike Moustakas and Alex Gordon. Both of them have been around for a long time in the system. Alex Gordon this year just tore his groin, so he's out right now. But they're fun to watch. Last season we got famous for our relief pitching. We had a series of 3 pitchers that would come in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. And they would basically get us out of any game with no runs for like 10 straight games or whatever it was. And their names are Wade Davis, Kelvin Herrera, and Greg Holland. And this year we added a guy named Ryan Madsen, who's pretty good and hopefully will help us this year too. And then the third guy, Salvador Perez, is the funniest guy on the team. He has an Instagram account where he constantly messes with the team. He's always smiling, and I think the team wouldn't be the same without him. So that's one reason. The second reason is the fan base. The fans are going crazy right now, and they were going crazy all of last year. USA Today sponsored a blog that showed that the Royals organization during the postseason last year sold the most gear out of any team in the country, which doesn't surprise me at all. It's all over the city. You can't really go anywhere without seeing people in it. And then also, Kansas City has a bunch of stores that are sprouting up all over that just sell random Kansas City shirts that aren't sponsored by the team, but just like these creative tees that people buy, and they're all over as well. I thought this was interesting. The attendance at the games is pretty high. We averaged 33,000, and our capacity is only 37,000. That's a lot of sellouts. And ESPN says that we're the 10th leader in attendance, but comparatively to percentage full of the stadium, we're the 4th on the list behind the Red Sox, Giants, and St. Louis. And those are 3 of the biggest ball clubs in the country. Boston's always been around. They've been good for a long time. St. Louis always goes to the playoffs, always does really well. And San Francisco, as we know, beat the Royals last year in the World Series and has won 3 out of the last 5, I think, which sucks. But they're really good, so the Royals are competing for attendance with some of the best teams in baseball. And then the third reason is this season, the Royals have been incredible, and it's kept the excitement going. They have been in first place since early June in their division, which means they'll definitely go to the playoffs if it kept up that way. But ever since the season started, they've been battling at the top of their division. Also, this was kind of disputed, but for the All-Star game, the Royals sent 7 players. It was up to fans voting, and Kansas City fans apparently voted a lot. It was going to be 9 players, but the MLB took out some of our votes, and we only ended up sending 7. And then also, trades that have been going on this season helped bring excitement to Kansas City. We got a guy named Johnny Cueto from the Reds, who's our new ace, and we hope to do good things with him in the playoffs if we can make it. And then also Ben Zobrist is a guy that we acquired from the A's, and we'll see how he does, but he's supposed to be a good hitter. And the goal would be that these players would help us go on to get to the World Series again and maybe win it instead of lose it this year. So overall, the Royals team is extremely young and fun to watch, lots of characters. The fan base is growing, and it's been huge. It's arguably one of the best, comparing to like all those 3 or 4 ball clubs that I was talking about, with the Giants, Red Sox, and St. Louis. And this year we'll hopefully get back to the playoffs and win the World Series. So I just thought I'd end with a story that kind of tells that it was crazy when I was there. I went to a postseason game last year, and I went with my little brother who's 13, and we went up to the top because we can't afford thousands of dollars worth of seats. But when we got up there, the fans were so loud that my brother got a migraine. And in the 3rd inning, we almost had to leave because he was in so much pain. But we ended up just going and sitting in a different section, or standing in a different section, so that his migraine could go away. And then like an hour and a half later, we finally went back to our seats, and it was all good. But that's just one example of how crazy Kansas City fans are for their baseball, and I think it'll keep up because we're in the middle of the country and there's not a lot else to do. So baseball's a fun thing to support. So yeah, that's it.